Hello, my name is Kelly Cannon, and this is the Salt Lake Tribune Daily Buzz, a video series where we bring you the important story of the day. So recently, a Summit County woman has been charged with poisoning her husband with a lethal dose of fentanyl. Now, he was just one of hundreds of Utahns who have died because of this drug. So what is fentanyl and what are its impacts on Utah? So fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is typically used to treat patients with chronic severe pain or for pain following surgery. It is 50 to 100 times stronger than morphine. That means a lethal dose of fentanyl is much smaller than other opiate drugs like oxycodone, hydrocodone, and heroin. Even a few milligrams of it, the equivalent to just a grain of rice, can be deadly for anyone who comes in contact with it. Most cases of fentanyl-related harm, overdose, and death in the U.S. are linked to an illicitly manufactured form of the drug. It's often sold in pill form in order to look like other prescription opioids. It's also mixed in with other drugs such as heroin, methamphetamine, and cocaine in order to increase its potency. So how is fentanyl getting into Utah? Most of the fentanyl involved in overdose deaths entered the U.S. illegally through Mexico, according to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. A recent investigation from the Washington Post detailed a drug trafficking case centered in St. George. Court records showed that a drug ring ordered methamphetamine and fentanyl from Mexico, picking it up in California, distributing it around St. George, and then sending that money back to Mexico. The Post story describes I-15 as being, quote, America's main fentanyl artery. The DEA recently announced the results of the Operation Last Mile, which targeted people associated with two cartels and responsible for the last mile of fentanyl and methamphetamine distribution. So between May 1st, 2022 and May 1st, 2023, the operation led to 3,337 arrests and the seizure of nearly 44 million fentanyl pills and more than 6,500 pounds of fentanyl powder, according to the press release. That removed nearly 193 million deadly doses of fentanyl from the communities across the country. Now, according to the Utah Crime Lab, pills are more common in Utah, with about 60% of the fentanyl samples submitted to the lab in 2022 being in the form of counterfeit pills. The numbers of pills seized by the Utah Highway Patrol increased 431% from 2021 to 2022. So how many Utahns are dying because of fentanyl? According to the state's Drug Monitoring Initiative, fentanyl is killing Utahns at an alarming and sharply increasing rate. In 2010, only about 25 people overdosed from fentanyl, according to the state's medical examiner. That number saw minor increases and decreases until 2015 and then jumped up to 45 people in 2016. It stayed steady again until 2018 when it started rising rapidly. Almost 120 people died because of a fentanyl dose in 2020. That means between 2015 and 2020, fentanyl-related overdose deaths increased nearly 400%. An annual report on overall illicit drugs from 2021 named fentanyl as the main driver of drug-related deaths in Utah. Like the opioid and heroin epidemics before it, fentanyl is ravaging every part of the country, regardless of socioeconomic status. So what is Utah doing to try to prevent more fentanyl deaths? Utah's Department of Health and Human Services provides fentanyl and naloxone education. Naloxone, sometimes better known for its brand name Narcan, is a life-saving medication that can reverse an overdose from opioids, including fentanyl. Utah is also launching a fentanyl test strip campaign that will help people test pills and other illicit substances for the dangerous drug. Now, we want to hear from you. What do you think about fentanyl in Utah? Do you know someone who has been personally affected by the fentanyl epidemic that is happening in Utah? What more do you think the government or police or education services should be doing to help combat fentanyl deaths? You can comment below or you can tweet us at SLTrib. Thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you want all of our Salt Lake Tribune videos, including Daily Buzz videos as soon as they are live, be sure that you're subscribed. You can also find us on social media such as TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at SLTrib. Thanks.